On September 10th, Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, one of the most prolific, prominent conservative figures in America, was shot and killed while speaking at an event on the campus at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. We know this. He was 31. He had a wife, Erica Kirk, young children. It was the highest profile political assassination in American history since, I would say, probably the Kennedy era. And what happened on a college campus in broad daylight, and it happened in broad daylight in front of everybody, right? And hundreds of people were there. They said 3,000. As I review the footage itself, I think it'd be interesting to actually just bring this in front of everyone, because I was talking today, and I want to just get an opinion on this, because to me, I mean, I could be wrong. Let's take a look here. We'll look through a couple of images real quick before we dive all the way in. So let's take a look at this. All right. Oh, I have this one. I forgot I set this one up. It's a little, this is a pretty decent little round. I'm trying different things, trying something new. So when I look at this, I don't know, man. I've been to a lot of events, a lot. I just don't see 3,000 people here. I really don't. Let me see if I can pull this picture up real quick. Open image and new tab. I don't know, man. Maybe 500, maybe. But the 3,000 person thing, I just don't understand why they feel the need to say 3,000. I just don't see three. I mean, do you know what 3,000 people really looks like? This is a pretty wide shot here. I don't know if anybody's really actually analyzed this. I'm sure people have, but I mean, this is like what, 100, 125, 50 people here, another 2, 3, 400 people here, maybe. Up here, there's probably another 150. I mean, where do they get the number 3,000? It's just an honest question. I don't want to go through and asking Claude and stuff like that right now. I think that it's kind of clear to me that it's not 3,000 people. We could actually do this. Show me a crowd of 3,000 people. Let's see if we can just pull it from Google, perhaps. Visualize. What is this? See your audience. 3,000 people, group royalty-free images. 3,000 people. Oh, that's not going to help. I always end up doing things I don't plan on doing. To visualize what is this? Vipiro Sports. What is this? That's definitely not 3,000 people. This might be a better representation of that. Let's see. Maybe. I mean, still. Oh yeah, look at, if this is as full and this is also the same depth, maybe. But yeah, just to get an idea, like if we were to say maybe if you go to like an event, maybe like a casino event, like a speaker event that has a stage and like service and stuff like that. A show, like a small concert, is like 3,000 people. Like 1,000 people is a lot already. I just wanted to raise that. Maybe people want to go deeper into it. You said take a pic without people and ask Rock to figure 3,000 people. Okay. Let's go to UVU campus, Charlie Kirk, empty. Let's see if we can find an empty. Grok would maybe be best for that, huh? Okay. Yeah, let me get maybe this is good. This is pretty good. Copy. Let me get my Grok going on here. Let's take a look. You guys are right. We should probably ask Grok to fill this in with people. Let's see. Let's do it. All right. So create image. Fill this image with 3,000 people. Let's see what happens. Because for me, when I look at the image and I see the amount of people they're saying, I mean, did they sell that many tickets? You know what I mean? This is just not 3,000 people. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, I'm not going to go through and count each one, but they're just look. Isn't that crazy? They're renovating it in this picture made with AI. Why are they doing that? Do you see that? What the heck? That is very strange. Look at this. Why is this picture of them renovating the property made from AI? You said, of course it is 3,000. I don't know. I don't see it. But anyways, I don't want to get too bogged down in that, right? So, anyways, um, they told us the perpetrator is Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, from Washington, Utah, and within 33 hours, I followed up. You know, the government told us it was 33 hours that he had confessed. He left a handwritten note. This is what we're going to be diving in on today. Is that they had said he left a handwritten note, a letter, admitting what he did. They told us DNA was found on his rifle. They told us the case was open and shut. The president of the United States said he hopes Tyler Robinson gets the death penalty. The vice president described him as an addicted to porn and hate. You know, the governor of Utah called him an evil human being. I'm not saying that all these things are not true, but when you have Megyn Kelly saying on camera that she cannot wait until they flip the switch and take his life and that she hopes to be there, every single one of them declared this man guilty before he was ever charged, before he was ever tried, before a single piece of evidence actually was tested in a courtroom. Now, think about that. And the prosecution is now seeking the death penalty. Now, here is why that matters beyond the obvious constitutional problems, which, if you saw my show, I think it was Friday or Saturday when I did a live stream with Bays. I actually was talking with Bays and Kelly, and, you know, I said, look, man, these people are convicting him before he's even had his day in court, before anything, you know, and it started with Erica Kirk saying, I forgive him. And that's just not something that you could legally do, or you I guess you could legally do it, but that you shouldn't do because they want to talk about infringing and creating a scenario where the outcome could be affected by the words that we speak as podcasters, as content creators, as social media, and as the narrative goes around and around, we are the ones that could be tampering with the evidence, I guess, or whatever they want to say. But again, before a single piece of evidence before he was even like, it's just so crazy to me that they have put Tyler Robinson in the hot seat and convicted him before anything. And then over the last several weeks, Baron Coleman, shout out to Baron, who runs a fantastic podcast, has been doing extraordinary investigative work on this case, along with Candace, discovered something buried in a defense motion, and it changes everything. It changes everything, okay? The defense team for Tyler Robinson, allergies. The defense team for Tyler Robinson at 181 page 181, this motion for excluding cameras from the courtroom, okay? It was filed on March 30th. And the case number is 251-403-576. And on page 70 of that motion, sorry, it was 181 pages. On page 70 of that motion, buried in a legal argument about pretrial publicity, the defense included a transcript of the moment Tyler Robinson was read his Miranda rights. They included the video timestamp. They included the Bates stamp reference as well, but they also included something they didn't have to include. And they included the real world time of day, the local time of day, 6:25 p.m. And they referenced it as taking place on the evening of his arrest. Okay. Tyler Robinson was arrested on September 11th, 2025. That means he was sitting in the Washington County Sheriff's Office being read his Miranda rights at 6:25 p.m. on September 11th, 2025. All right. He invoked his right to remain silent. He asked for an attorney named Doug Terry. He then said, well, his office is closed for the night. And that's something that Barron and I also have caught on to. I didn't know if Barron said it. I'm sure he did. But I also said as well, which doesn't matter. I mean, he found all of this information. I am by no means as entrenched as he is, and I'm looking to get back into this more educated on the finer details, which is why I'm talking about this, because when I saw that, right? Yeah, actually, I do remember now. I got this from Barron. He said that it wasn't the weekend, closed for the weekend. You would say closed for the weekend. That would be a dramatic situation inside, because you'd be like, damn it. He's not closed. He's closed for the weekend. Do I have to wait till Monday to talk to him? Like, all of these things possibly would be have been said, right? But instead, he says closed for the night, which, speaking of 2025 calendar, we can go ahead and look at here. We'll probably just go to my calendar. Let me see. Calendar, Google, go to September 2025. Okay. September of 2025. Do I have anything going on here? Anything I don't want to share with anybody? Let me see. September. Okay. Let's take a look. All right. So this is my calendar. Okay. Obviously, I had nothing going on. So the 11th, right here, is a Thursday. Okay. The 12th would have been a Friday. Okay. If he were to say close for the weekend, then I actually did look. If you saw my previous show, the one that I covered this, we looked for Doug Terry. I mean, we could look again, right? Doug Terry, attorney. Here, I actually have it right here. I think it's this one. And they are closed on the weekend. All right. So this is Douglas Terry. And then their hours are Saturday, Sunday closed, and then the rest of the week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Okay. So indeed, they are closed. All right. On the weekend, but they're open on Thursday and Friday. So that being said, if that's the same Douglas Terry, then they said that he was arrested on the 11th. All of it is there. I mean, he was Mirandized on the 11th. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. Barron is very confident. I am very confident. I will go through the documents. We can even show you, and I'm sure you've seen it before. If you want to see it, let me know. I mean, if you want to see the Mirandized document, I will find it and pull it up for you. Just put it in the chat, and I'll put it up. Put a 1 if you want me to. Don't make me do it if you don't want. If you've already seen it, just don't say anything. But I'll continue with this. So he's been Mirandized. This is when the timeline starts to fall apart. Okay, it's terribly starts to fall apart. They referenced it taking place on the evening of his arrest. Tyler Robinson was arrested on September 11th. That means he was sitting in there and his rights were read at 6:25 p.m. on September 11th. Again, he invoked his right to remain silent, which means he claimed his right to remain silent. All right. Then what Barron did after catching this is he built this timeline. Okay. He showed that at 6:17 p.m., 8 minutes before the Miranda, the FBI was still releasing photos of the suspect to the public, asking for help identifying who this person was, looking for help to find this person, the perpetrator. Okay. So Look for sheriff that resigned and admitted to covering for his friend, he says. Resigned covering for his friend? I don't know if I've heard that. We could definitely look into that. One second. Here we go. I'll look for it in the meantime. Okay. Thank you. So, timeline's built. You've all probably heard it, right? But we'll go through a little bit of it. So, um, okay. So let's start here. So, 6:25 p.m. September 11th. This is how we are interpreting the information. Okay. Read his Miranda rights at 6:25. And then you have actually a little over an hour, hour and a half later, there's I guess 91 minutes later, after Tyler invoked his rights to remain silent in the police station, a confession appeared on Discord under what's supposed to be his username. He showed that Sheriff Barron, well, I'll just say and they've given us this information. Sheriff Brooksby's claim of an 8:02 p.m. phone call to Sheriff Mike Smith is provably false because Smith was physically on stage at a national televised press conference at 8 p.m. with Governor Cox. Barron also laid out across episodes 93 to 97, and he laid all this out in 5 episodes, and it's gone viral. Okay. Candace Owens has confirmed it. She said on X that Tyler Robinson was in police custody before 7 p.m. as well. So she's confirmed this as well. She said that the time and the outfit were massive lies from Governor Cox's press conference. Prime Timer also covered it. IB Times also covered it. Sam Parker posted multiple posts, and we'll go through some of them. Especially the 33-hour manhunt narrative is collapsing in real time, right? So on my end, I've been focused on the digital evidence because this is kind of where I like to live. I've looked at the Discord things. There's things that I thought that I had figured out with the hearts and emojis, and then I realized someone sent me during the live stream. We corrected it, but there were time lapses, situations with the timestamps and stuff. Now, the date rendering, the comma placement, the heart emoji styling, the styling format, timestamp format. Some of it has been proven. I debunked myself, and some of it is accurate. Okay, or into my opinion, it is. Now, critically though, Discord themselves could not find those chats that they're in their servers. Okay, in the first week after the shooting, Governor Cox originally said that the messages were on Discord at his press conference. Then it changed to iMessage. Then Kash Patel went back to saying Discord. The platform keeps shifting depending on who is talking and when. Now, this week, something newer happened. Okay. On April 9th and 10th, a batch of previously sealed search warrants were unsealed, and every mainstream outlet in the country ran the same headline: Tyler Robinson confessed in a handwritten letter to Lance Twiggs. They published the full text, and if you are a casual news consumer scrolling on your phone, the case looks like it is over. He confessed. Done. It's over. Okay. But when you actually look at the source documents behind those headlines, the letter was found burned in the trash. Okay. Lance told the FBI he does not know where it is. A photograph is what the prosecution plans to present. Not the original, not forensic authentication, a photograph. And the letter itself contains a technical claim that is either provable or it is not. It says I sent an auto text, right? A scheduled text message leaves a forensic trace on a phone. The prosecution has Tyler's phone. They have the forensic extractions, okay? And they have explicitly stated in their filings, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that they will not present forensic extraction data from any of the electronic devices seized in this case. 16 search warrants worth of devices, and they will not show the metadata. On top of all of that, the ATF could not match the bullet fragment recovered from Charlie Kirk's autopsy to the rifle allegedly used by Tyler Robinson. The comparison came back inconclusive, and the FBI responded by ordering a second round of testing using comparative bullet-lead analysis, or CBLA, which by the FBI's own statements and status and stance on this analysis, it's been deemed scientifically unreliable. It's put innocent people in prison, and they've had to walk back a lot of these cases, hundreds. Now, Andrea Burkhart, who maintains a public archive of every court filing in this case on her Substack, published an incredible deep dive on CBLA 2 days ago, breaking down, I think it's 2 days ago. Let me see here. Yeah, 2 days ago. And she breaks down exactly why this is alarming. Okay. And it is public. All right. It's probably like 3,000 characters, maybe less, 2,000 characters. You can go read through it. But we've reviewed this information on this channel. Okay. So this is where we are right now. That is quite the landscape that we're sitting in right about now. And I will say, today we're going to walk through the unsealed letter, a lot of stuff that's going through the news. This is a live investigation. This is what I like to do. I don't come forward with a lot of stuff. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Right now, I just got back from Vegas, spending time with my family, and I just wanted to kind of entrench myself in this conversation and show what's been going on over the last couple of days, what's going on in different channels, cover some stuff from Barron, also some other things that I've said. So if we find something new in this process, we will follow it wherever it goes. This is how I operate. So if you're still here, please hit the like button. I appreciate you for being here. Share this stream with somebody who needs to see it. And let's get into it. So this week, every mainstream outlet in the country ran the same story. I mean, it's the same story. Unsealed search warrants in the Tyler Robinson case, and the headlines were all identical. Tyler Robinson confessed in a letter. Tyler Robinson admitted to killing Charlie Kirk. Case closed, open and shut. I want to show you exactly what they are running, because I want you to see what every American scrolling their phone this week, I mean, pretty much probably everyone. If I got it, I know the boomers got it. I know the people that just scrolling have gotten it. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this article here. Let's pull this up. So actually, it might be better to just find a video. Actually, let me see if I can pull this up on, we'll go to YouTube. And we'll just say CNN. Can we find CNN? They love, or Fox, who is let's do something as of this week. Not really. Okay. Tyler Robinson evidence found. Can we get a search filter from new evidence revealed? Perfect. Fox News. Let's see if we got here. Let's put up this week. New evidence revealed. Wrong gun. Nope, that's not it. Handwritten letter could play. Here we go. Here's one right here.
New at 10 legal experts focusing on key evidence in the Tyler Robinson case.
A handwritten letter, which prosecutors say shows intent and premeditation, could play a major role as this case moves through the courts. KUTV's Christian Zeta joins us live in Provo tonight. Christian.
Yeah, now Robinson is due here at the Provo courthouse on April 17th. Now, a legal expert tells me that letter could play a crucial role in court as prosecutors work to build this case. A newly released search warrant reveals key evidence in the case against Tyler Robinson, including surveillance video, text messages, and a handwritten letter.
One can argue that it's maybe the most important kind of evidence that there is, because it's revealed.
How is a handwritten letter an image that don't have the actual This is so crazy.
motives, the thoughts, and the premeditation of a suspect.
That letter appears to outline both intent and expectation of consequences. It reads in part, I am likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. Nathan Evershed is a former prosecutor who is now a defense attorney. He says words like these could carry significant weight with a jury.
You can see the prosecution really
Do
using
you think that they're trying to get significant weight with the jury? Why are they doing this and making it so public? Right? I get this sinking feeling in my chest when I see stuff like this, because it could happen to any one of you. I'm not saying he's innocent, but I'm saying, to me, it looks like he's a patsy. And when they are trying so hard to carve a narrative out off of something that was burned, statably, by the person that, what is the word when you're guilty by association? Helping someone with a crime. Where is Lance Twiggs in all of this? How come he's not being held for assisting a murder and hiding it? Right? Why take a picture?
to show that, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that is a chilling document.
Combined with other evidence, it could be tough for the defense to push back.
At the end of the day, the arguments that they can maybe make could be it wasn't him, it was somebody else that authored this note, or he was in a state of confusion, or he was not himself, or things of that nature.
Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty.
Now, this kind of evidence probably bolsters their decision to do that, because this could be very good evidence in the death penalty phase.
Yeah, I'm sure it could be.
Now, Robinson's defense wants to exclude all cameras from the courtroom. Now, again, it will be happening here at the Provo Courthouse on April 17th. So
why would the defense want to do that? I would think it's like, I find that strange. I really do. We could ask. I mean, I don't know. This is, to me, is tampering, right? So let me show you the letter. I think it's here. Let's see if we have it here. Do we have the letter? Let's see where it's at. Show Desert News article. Okay, I think it might be here. Okay, so I guess this is what the letter says. Do we have a picture of the letter? Let me see if I can find a picture of the letter. Tyler Robinson admission Lance Twiggs letter. Do we have an image? Right here. Let's take a look. I guess this is, what is this, on Instagram? Okay, this isn't that. This is just more and for same stuff. I mean, when you look at everything, it really, to me, is not like, the letter allegedly says, and I'll just quote from what I've pulled out directly from the unsealed warrant. Luna, if you are reading this, per my text, then I am so sorry. I left the house this morning on a mission and set an auto text. I'm likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I took it. I do not know if I will have succeeded, but I had hoped to make it home to you. I wish we could have lived in a world where this does not feel necessary. I wish I could have stayed for you and lived our lives together. And then the Salt Lake Tribune ran the text messages where Robinson allegedly told Lance Twiggs he had no intention of being drugged through the courts in front of the country, which I believe this here, so we could actually look at this. A new unsealed search warrant revealed that Tyler Robinson allegedly wrote in a handwritten letter he left for his romantic partner about his plan to shoot Charlie Kirk. Law enforcement had previously disclosed that Robinson had allegedly sent texts to his roommate, who's transgender and has transitioned to female. Why does that have anything to do with it? Man, this fan is makes my nose itch. So drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard, okay? If you haven't seen Bays and I's skit on that, I think when you hear it out loud, it's almost ridiculous to hear somebody speak this way or text this way. But again, carving the narrative who is transgender and transition to female, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but I don't think it's important here. Asking her, and then and then like, is this even true? I thought it was just a furry, right? Like, is that true? Does anybody know? Is this true? Is Lance Twiggs transgender or just a furry? Lance Twiggs is identified by family members and media reports as both transgender and furry. Twiggs is reportedly in the process of transitioning from male to female. This was confirmed by a family member in an interview with Wisconsin Right Now and noted by Utah Governor Spencer Cox. Furry interest. Twiggs has been described as a furry and has reportedly used multiple online names like Lancelot and Lance Clottle. So is this even accurate? Who is transgender and has transitioned to female? I don't think this is true. Is this slander or is this a lie? Like blatantly lying intentionally? It looks like it to me. But that confrontation never happened. So I have no intention of being drugged through the courts in front of the country, he allegedly wrote. But that confrontation never happened. Instead, police say Robinson's parents called a former detective they knew and arranged for the 22-year-old to surrender at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. What's interesting, and I'm going to get a little bit off of my story here, but I wanted to pull open the timestamp. Tyler was going to get a gun, right? Let me pull open that. I think I have the transcript I can pull up. I find this quite intriguing. Okay, here we go. Let me go find this video real quick. Candace Owens, her most recent show, live. If you didn't see her last live stream, I gotta say, you probably.
I love the green color too. It's really beautiful.
Okay. Okay. So 31. Here, we'll just
Way.
right
Anyway, you guys, getting into what Baron Coleman discovered. So one of the earliest stories that we broke, actually back on September 29th, to be precise, was that we had a source with direct knowledge regarding Tyler Robinson's arrest. And they had insisted to us that it was known to the police that Tyler Robinson was their guy before 7:00 p.m. on September 11th. Okay, I'm going to show you on a timeline why that's important. The second thing that they noted to us was that Governor Cox and the police, they were lying about the clothing that he was wearing when he was brought in. It struck them as odd that they were saying that he was wearing an outfit that he was not wearing. So we had included that little tidbit on our original timeline when the Washington County Police knew that it was Tyler Robinson, which was, again, by 7:00 p.m., they were all texting each other. They had said they initially had planned to pick him up in Warner Valley, but, and this is a part that has not come out since, that he was buying a gun, that Tyler Robinson had been buying a gun in Warner Valley, purchasing another gun. But then suddenly there was some sea change and they learned that he was coming in cooperatively. A couple of things I could say about that. There are some people that have been speculating that perhaps the plan, if we all accept that this is all Fed slop, was that Tyler Robinson was going to maybe die in a shootout or something. And this little tidbit that has never been brought forth to the public about him purchasing a gun in Warner Valley is of interest to me. But let's get into why that specific 7:00 p.m. timeline could be interesting. So rather amazingly, Baron Coleman was climbing through documents which were filed by Tyler Robinson's defense team. And there was something that we had completely missed. And these documents suggest that Tyler had already been Mirandized and was sitting in a police station to be interviewed at 6:25 p.m. on the 11th. And I'm going to show you that in the motion to exclude still photography. So they are making an argument as to why the media should not be.
Okay, so she goes deeper into the timeline. Now, this comes from a source. She says, I believe Barron says, whoever, that has knowledge of Tyler Robinson's arrest, and this detail has not been brought to the public by any official source. But Candace said on her Monday show, and I believe Barron also had said, per her reference, that The law enforcement initially planned to pick Tyler Robinson up in Warner Valley. Warner Valley is 12 miles outside of St. George. It's in a remote area. And according to the source, the reason they were going to pick him up is because Tyler Robinson was buying a firearm, purchasing another firearm. And then suddenly there's some change, and they learned he was coming in cooperatively instead. Now, let's sit with that for a second, right? Because the implications of this are enormous. And nobody was talking about this. Why? If we can walk through what this means if it's true, right? First, why is Tyler Robinson buying a gun on September 11th? According to the official narrative, he has already committed the crime of the century. He already has firearms at home. The search warrant inventory lists a Smith & Wesson pistol, a .22 Henry rifle, a .22 Winchester rifle, a .22 Rossi long rifle, a Remington 30-06 cartridges, Smith & Wesson magazines, revolver, holster. This man allegedly had an arsenal in his home, whether it was his or his family's or what have you. Why is he out in a remote area of Washington County purchasing yet another firearm on the day after he allegedly assassinated one of the most prominent political figures in America? What possible reason does a lone wolf assassin have to buy another gun 12 miles, another gun, I don't know why I said it like that, another gun 12 miles outside of town in a remote desert when he had already has his weapons at his residence? Second question, how did law enforcement know he was buying this firearm in Warner Valley? If they knew where he was and he was doing it in real time, that means they had either his phone tracked, a surveillance team on him, or someone was feeding them information about his movements in real time. But remember, the official narrative is that this was a 33-hour manhunt. The FBI was releasing photos asking the public for help. None of this is adding up, right? Governor Cox was on national television saying they did not know who the suspect was. Let me pull up this real quick. Let's see, Governor Cox. I think that was his initial reaction. Let me see here.
I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere, and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is
The American experiment.
Attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely, even especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much.
Does it? Because to me, it feels like they are not trying to actually get to the core of the problem here or the actual issue, right? This sums up pretty much, yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And
keep your eyes on these guys right here. Let's see how they act. I'll play it a little slower.
It was as anger pushed me to the brink. It was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those, and specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, "You know who really loved Charlie? The youths." And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking.
Why does it look to me like Cash is trying to hold back a smile?
That's when you get violence.
I mean, I'm probably wrong, but to me, it doesn't look like someone. It looks like someone who's trying to, you know.
He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I picked the wrong one. I want to find where he was actually asking for help. Let me see.
I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence.
He speaks about the Constitution and founding documents quite a lot. When they do that, that's a warning. They are speaking in a way that is trying to make you feel like it is a comfort that they are trying to uphold and establish and maintain the strength of our values and our Constitution and our Declaration and this and that. But it always comes with control and strengthening and amending the reality of this stuff happening here. Is basically that they want to make us feel comfortable while they strip away more of our rights. That's how I see it.
That this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago.
Why does he keep saying the experiment? I mean, I get it. America is new and it's this great experiment. I really believe that God allows us to receive information through the words of the people that are talking to us in a way that is subliminal and they don't even realize it, right? He said it twice now. We've just 2 clips.
We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to 2 young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated.
Okay, so now that we've seen that, now that we've seen they're so adamant about their rights and the political.
Let's look at the what.
Let's just dive a little bit into, how important these rights seem to be for them.
First, this is the police officer talking. So Tyler, before we begin, I'm just going to read you your rights. Okay, you have the right to remain silent. If you've ever watched a cop show based in America, you've seen this. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before advice, before we ask you any questions. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during your questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning begins. And if you decide to answer questions now, you can stop at any time. Okay? So are you good? Are you good to proceed? I'd love to talk to you. Here's what he says. I'd like to speak with my legal counsel. I'm hoping for a fellow in Utah named Doug Terry. Okay. Told he's pretty good attorney here, but I think my folks are trying to get a hold of him, but I think his office is closed for the night. Closed for the night. Okay. But until I've had the opportunity to speak with someone, I'd like to remain silent. Now, let's just talk about the what first. Does this sound like the way it was reported? Is this consistent with what everyone reported, which is he's not cooperating? He's dug in. He's remaining silent. No, not at all. And that's the part the defense team chose to key in on. The content, the what. I'm going to get to the when in a second. But the what. He chose to decline for the time being to say anything until he's had an opportunity to talk to a lawyer. He even named a particular lawyer, a guy named Doug Terry. We'll look at him in a second. He was right. He's a pretty good lawyer. That's who he wanted to talk to, and his parents were trying to get a hold of him. His office was closed for the night. I think that's a key fact. His office was closed for the night. It lets us know what day this took place. But I'll get to that in a second, too. We already know what day it took place. It took place on September 11th. I can almost guarantee you. Now let's look at the when, because the when...
Okay. So he was read his rights, okay? And we can actually probably pull this clip here if we go to X. Megyn Kelly flipped the switch. Can we pull that? Do we have it? It really, let me see. Tyler Robinson. I guess I'll put Tyler Robinson. If we can find it. Wouldn't be surprised if she took it off air. Let me see. Tyler Robinson. Send convict. Yeah, let me just find this. I end up writing this stuff and I want to do it, and then
my only hope is that I can be there in the room when they flip the switch and take his life. I want him dead. I want the death penalty handed down against him and anyone who helped him. And I will be gleeful on the day it is carried out. I honestly don't know how that squares with my Catholic faith, to be honest. We're not real pro the state killing people or.
Okay, so we saw that. Let's look at.
So at 8 p.m., there's a press conference. Governor Cox is there. Kash Patel is there. Wonder if anyone else was there. You want to take a stab at who might have been on the stage at 8 o'clock? Not taking a phone call from the sheriff of Washington County. Anyone want to guess? Anyone want to guess? I'll be happy to tell you. I'll share it with you. I'd love to spoil the surprise. Remember, at 8:04 p.m., supposedly, the sheriff of Washington County is calling the sheriff of Utah County. Well, this is a press conference that was taking place at 8 p.m.
And his team, it's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here.
Oh, Sheriff Mike Smith, the county sheriff. He's here, and he looked right at him. I'd like to thank the local law enforcement here. Sheriff Mike Smith, who's here with us. Oops. So maybe 804 wasn't exactly the right number. I don't know. But that's Sheriff Bixby's story, and he's sticking to it. Well, we got a lot of other problems with this timeline. We got a ton of other problems with this timeline. We're just getting warmed up, ladies and gentlemen. So Brooksby says, I get a call at 8:02. That's important for the timeline because there were things that happened that hadn't come out yet, and we're going to get to that. For example, if you go to the FBI website.
I thought I had basically where he was saying they got him, right? And when they say they got him, here, we could just type it in. Governor Cox, because there's something I want to say about it. Yeah, right here. I think
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI.
These people, we got them, right? I mean, Megyn Kelly, okay? It's like, this is America. And this is America, okay? And I say that knowing full well that people are going to roll their eyes when someone says that in 2026 because the phrase has been so overused, it's lost its meaning. We're America. What is that even? What is American? But I need you to hear me say it. And I need you to understand that I mean it with every fiber of my being. This is America, which means we have a constitution. And that constitution has a Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights contains the Fifth and the Sixth Amendment. For a reason, might I add, the Fifth Amendment says no person shall be compelled in any criminal case can be a witness against himself. And the Sixth Amendment says in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. These are not suggestions, okay? Bill of Rights, Sixth Amendment. And these aren't like complicated documents to read, okay? Amendment 6, okay? Right to a speedy trial, right to trial by jury, scope of right, impartial jury. Jury free from bias. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. All right. These are limits on the extent to which an inquiry could be made and whether a criminal defendant's right to a jury trial has been denied by a biased jury. Federal rules of evidence and the vast majority of the states forbid the impeachment or questioning of a verdict by inquiring into the internal deliberations of the jury. A rule of evidence that originated in English common law, this is no impeachment rule, which aims to promote full and vigorous discussion by jurors and to preserve the stability of jury verdicts, has limited the ability of criminal defendants to argue in post-conviction proceedings that a jury's internal deliberations demonstrated bias. Okay, I want to save this. So, did I click something? Okay. Now, as a result, the court has rejected the Sixth Amendment exception to the rule. God, I keep doing that. When evidence existed that jurors were under the influence of alcohol and drugs during the trial. In the court's view, three safeguards: the voir dire, jury selection process, the ability for the court and counsel to observe the jury during trial, and the potential for jurors to report untoward behavior to the court before rendering a verdict. That's why people say, like, if you wanted to get out of jury duty and stuff like that, you could say, oh, I'm a racist, or I don't like people that have guns, or like you could literally say that in jury trial or jury duty selection, and they will dismiss you in a case like this because they don't want you having a biased view. Now, walking through this Bill of Rights here, okay? The Supreme Court has interpreted the Sixth Amendment to require that jurors must be willing to decide the case on the basis of the evidence that has been presented in court. Not hearsay, not conversations online, presented in court, not anything else. On the basis of the evidence presented, not on the basis of what the president said on television, not on the basis of what the governor declared as a press conference, not on the basis of what Megyn Kelly told millions of viewers, but on the evidence presented in a courtroom under oath, subjected to cross-examination. That is our gold standard. That is what makes us America. And every single government official who went on national television and declared Tyler Robinson guilty before he was charged, before he was tried, before a single piece of evidence was tested in the crucible of a jury trial, violated the foundational principles of what the Sixth Amendment is supposed to protect, what it is protecting, is supposed to protect. The Supreme Court has specifically held that a violation of a defendant's right to an impartial jury occurs when the jury or any of its members is subjected to pressure or influence which could impair freedom of action. Pressure or influence. You tell me what you call it when the president of the United States states that he hopes he gets the death penalty. When the vice president of the United States describes this man as his personal relationships on national television, when the governor of Utah looks into the camera and says, "We got him," and spends 24 minutes reading the probable cause affidavit to the country. When the FBI director and the deputy director go on cable news and discuss confessions, DNA evidence, forensic results, and the defendant's lack of cooperation, all of which are specifically prohibited under 28 CFR 50.2 and Comment 5 of Utah Professional Rule 3.6. Every single one of those statements were designed to create pressure and influence on any future juror who might sit in that courtroom. Clearly, this is not me speculating. You watched it. You've seen it here. Okay. That is the legal definition of what has happened. The Supreme Court has also held that exposure of the jury is possibly prejudice material requiring judicial inquiry. So possibly prejudicial material, we are not talking about possibly here. We are talking about the most powerful people in this country going on the most watched television or social media platforms in this country, declaring that this man is guilty on the most watched platforms ever today, right now, declaring that he's guilty and calling for his execution. Imagine being in the hot seat. Imagine being in his position. You haven't even seen anything yet. You don't even know what's going on, perhaps. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But either way, the entire world is saying that you need to be killed. How devastating is that? When it's so sloppy, nothing is adding up. We're seeing lie after lie. From the moment they said that Tyler Robinson's screwdriver was left on the roof. Let me show you something. There was a great rant yesterday. I'm so glad I caught it. This was so good. This was so good. When you see, I mean, this besides the Tyler Robinson, this is encompassing that. But I want to show you something that I was able to fortunately catch yesterday.
Salt Lake City.
On Jimmy Dore. Let me close this. Okay. So Jimmy Dore had Lionel Nation on. If you have not seen this, put a 1 in the chat. If you have not seen Lionel Nation on Jimmy yesterday, put a 1 in the chat because I want to show you this. I want you to see this because this is Lionel goes off and it's in a comedic education, like very mature way. Put a 1 in the chat if you've not seen this. I think when you lay it all out, I mean, this whole conversation, it's kind of long, right? And I don't want to show this whole thing, but there are some things here, and we'll just watch some of it. I want you to see it laid out in front of you, okay? Because when you see somebody explain all of the things, I mean, they go through and nitpick at all of these things from Erica Kirk and to the TVUSA and to the case and to all of these things that have happened. You haven't seen it, most likely. Okay, good. So we're going to watch this.
X channel is at Lionel Media. Welcome to the show, Lionel. Love you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So great to have you on the show. I've been watching you and your coverage of you have a great way.
Before we get into it, I'll go through a couple of the chats and members. Welcome, Ponquito Slaps the Base. Gifted 1 Danks membership. Say thank you. Gifted another one. Thank you, Ponquito. Anne Marie, good to see you. $4.99. Welcome. Just saying hello between work meetings. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the super chat. You know I appreciate it. Much love. Pete. Hey, what's up, Pete? Been a while. $1 from Australia, $14.99. How do we stop this effing insanity? Seriously, anywho, from Australia. Thanks for the super chat. Bro, I got to tell you, this is how we stop it. We talk about it. We discuss it. We share and tell. We share information. We have the show. We discuss and we open forum. We use our voice to stop the insanity. That's the only way. We have shows like this, Jimmy Dore, big platforms. On Thursdays, we're starting our show, our spaces officially, with Elizabeth Lane, me, Jesse on Fire, and Ethan Levins. I'll show you the flyer that we have for this week. So this is how we stop it. So on Thursday, this is says April 17th. Hold on, let me pick the right one here. This one right here. So on the 16th at 8:30, so it's 2 days. So on Thursday at 8:30 EST, we have Julian Dory and JP Sears. And we're going to be doing this weekly. Hopefully we'll get next week. We have a couple people that we're looking. I mean, we've got from Alex Jones to John Kiriakou to hopefully Baron Coleman to hopefully Tucker Carlson, Piers Morgan. There's a lot of connections between all of us. And we are looking to have a fantastic show every Thursday on Spaces. Sometimes we'll move the date depending on who we have on. Might be next Saturday for the following week. But Julian Dory and JP Spears. And we're talking about what is America and where we're at and how do we get here and how do we get out of it. This is how you do it. You host events, you speak, you get prominent voices to put their opinions out there, and we have a discussion. We have people there that have the opportunity to ask questions. This is how we do it. All right. So make sure you follow me on X, same account, Dankster Intel. Follow all of them. You can take a screen grab if you want. We will be and Awaken with JP, who has done great work, both of them covering all kinds of stuff about our American freedom, our rights, to have transparency, to have information that we pay for. We pay our government. We're not even supposed to be paying taxes, but we do. Okay. And every single time they try to take away our rights and our freedom and use that as a weapon against us, we have to get louder. That's how we stop it. We have to get louder, not quieter, not more scared, louder. All of us, because they can't ban all of us. Okay. They could, I guess, but they're not going to make any money.
With words much better than myself, even though I'm supposedly a professional communicator. But I just love listening to your you really know how to frame things like nobody else, especially when it comes to the Erica Kirk and the TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens. Everybody should check out Lionel's channel. It's like listening to music almost.
Thank you.
And it's really well done. Well done. Let me just what got you so interested in the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Candace Owens angle to it?
There's a lot of people, and I've even fallen victim to myself, which is okay because there is a lot of other stuff going on. You're going to hear what he says, and he makes a great point about why he's gone on and on about this.
Well, this is a perfect story. In fact, people are asking, maybe you get this too, but I get this. Would you stop talking about this? What the hell is so interesting about?
I noticed he was all dressed up too. Looks great, doesn't he?
About this story. For God's sake, this woman lost her husband. We're at war. You got the Strait of Hormuz. I don't even know where the hell the Strait of Hormuz is, or I didn't even know it was straight. And you're talking about this crap. What the hell's the matter with you? For God's sakes. And I'm thinking, you don't know anything about this. You know, Jimmy, I'm probably older than you, but there was a time in our life when we used to like stories like Falcon Crest and Dynasty and Knots Landing. And there were these characters, these people that were these complex, specifically women from Cruella de Vil to name it. I didn't understand how this thing happened. And I followed Candace, loved her to death, thought she was terrific, but I thought, okay, fine. All of a sudden, she brings up this story about Charlie Kirk. They make the mistake of going after her. So she says, all right. There's a great line from Jack Reacher, the first Jack Reacher, where Tom Cruise is about to kill this guy and crush his gonads in this fight. And before he does this, he looks at him and he says, remember, you wanted this. So whenever Candace engages, it's like, remember, you wanted this. You didn't.
She was nice. She was taking their side at first. She didn't want to say anything. And then they attacked her. Then they kept attacking her. Then there was campaigns against her for social media slander. Evil, demonic, all that. It happened multiple times. They spent millions on this, I'm sure. And they picked this fight. And everything that she said seems to have come true. so far. At least that's what it looks like.
Foreign enemies. But if you want me, ask Brigitte Macron what she thinks. So anyway, so here they came, and I thought Erica Kirk, and I thought at first, oh, for God's sake, let this person. Two things got me. First, the creepiest, ghoulish, funereal, lugubrious, sick. I don't even know what it is. Moribund necromancy. I don't know what the words are. When she lay atop her husband's corpse, highlighting his hands. I'm thinking, if there's a hell, you're in the smoking section. Dear God, this can't be. And
Okay, so let me go to the part where actually I might run this transcript. I'll play it while I run the transcript so I can get to the part where he mentions the actual situation with the case.
You are a singular. You don't just get this gig, but the other part too was look. There's four parts of this. Number one, there's the crime. This is great. As a lawyer, I'm thinking, yeah, this is wild. The Tyler Robinson case is one thing. Then there's the idea of the real identity. It's like, okay, who really did what? He might have been there, but the third one is what's the motivation? And the fourth, of course, is Erica. And this, there must be, but what one last word. She's not a psychopath. She's not a sociopath. She's not even that deep. She has her world. Remember being there with Chauncey Gardner?
Yes, Peter Sellers.
That's her. Hers is whatever she has a clicker. She just changes the channel. I say, I'm going to try this one out. I'm going to try.
Put a C. Put a C in the chat for clicker. Do you think that she's just shooting, taking shots at a personality or an acting role of some sort that she's attempting to? Does it feel that way to you? Because like she was one way in the beginning, and then she took a week off and then came back on the Free Press. Put a C. If you feel like she's just changing channels, like, oh, CNN didn't work, let's go the Fox News route. Oh, let's go the YouTube route. Let's go the Twitter and let's go the aggressive route. That didn't work. Let me try the sad. Let's go back to the route where I don't know. Maybe I should act sad again and very humble. And do you feel that way? I'm just wondering. Do you feel that way?
I think I'm going to be. She never says Jesus. She says the Lord. Never mentions her kids. Quick, Erica. What's your kid's name? Jimmy. Jimmy J. Anyway, no clue. All of a sudden, she has these. Listen, bless Charlie Kirk. This guy was a rube. He fell off the turnip truck. He didn't know what he got into with this. Come on, Jimmy. We've been around. We've seen this. He didn't know. She knew exactly. I don't know what his story was, but she probably, rocked his world. And he said, "Hey," and then he had no idea.
Lionel, bro. It's funny because sometimes I think the same thing. She just rocked his world. She just really just like, and sometimes, man, when you fall in love, you're blinded. And I'm not saying that's the case, but damn, does he say it well?
Idea. And by the way, I'm not suggesting she had anything to do with any of her. There's no evidence of it. I mean, nothing's impossible. So I'm not saying that. But my God, how she overcame this so quickly. And how about all of the men she meets? How about when she's meeting with Trump and he's like this, and then when she grabs JD Vance from behind the head, they go, let go. I mean, you can't believe this. The Tyler Robinson case. I don't know if you want to get to that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into that.
Your rendition, by the way, see, Jimmy, trial law is about telling the jury the facts, not the law, telling people, let me get this straight. You talked about the breaking down the gun. Now, I got this thing with him. I put together a chair. I don't know, it makes a hell of a weapon. But he's going to sit there and say, okay, let me take this thing, 30-06. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Take the thing off. Hang on. And my Fetty goes, oh, Grandpa's going to kill me. Granddad.
This is just what I was saying. Look at this. This is exactly what they're trying to say happened.
Now there's this, I got this thing with them. I put together a chair. I don't know, it makes a hell of a weapon, but he's got to sit there and say, okay, let me take this thing, 30-06. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Take the thing off. Hang on. And my Fetty goes, oh, grandpa's going to kill me. Granddaddy's got I got that shooting iron. That's the least of your worries. What are you talking about? Anyway, so he takes it apart. Okay. Sticks it down his pants, I guess. And he puts it back together again. And he's got to calibrate the scope. Then he tells his girlfriend or a boy, whatever this thing is, I love you. Hey, would you do me a solid? Would you go get the rifle for me? I left it. What? Would you go there? Listen, don't lawyer up. Be careful. Would you just help me? The stories don't make any sense. But here's the best part. Some of these, the folks online are terrific. There might have been two versions of this. The first version, as you know, was when he said, well, I'm not going to turn myself in. No way am I going to get languish for the rest of my life in some cell. I'm going to go out with a bang. Top of the world, Ma. Top of the world. Well, that's not the one they used. They used the first one that says, I think I'm going to turn myself in. And they probably thought, oh, God, no, stop. And he probably told their operatives, no, plan B, abort.
So he's going through this acting like, showing like in a comedic type of way, but it is almost comedic how they are trying to carve this narrative and make it so it fits. But there's so many irrational things, starting from the very beginning with the screwdriver on the roof, coming back to bite them in the ass. Who the hell came up with this story? Oh, he left the screwdriver. Yeah. Bro, we saw the shot. I've showed it on this channel. The shot's taken, and before anybody even reacts, the person is running across the roof. You don't have time to dismantle a rifle with a screwdriver on top of it at all. Not even within a few minutes, which is ridiculous. That's a lie. I'm happy to say that's impossible. That's bullshit. It's not real. That's bullshit. Please do not let them even make you think that's real, because it's just not possible. It's physically impossible. Okay. Nobody is dismantling a rifle on the roof and then running and jumping down with it like Spider. You can't do that in 3 seconds. You can't. Unless you have some rifle that can just like pow, pow, boom, just throw it in. Even then, even that much time, there's nobody doing anything as they're running. You're not seeing somebody clack, clack and put this shit down and throw it in my pants and then jump off a roof or hold it in a towel. Oh, man. Come on, guys. Please give me a break.
Bored. What? But we have all this text messages. No, he turned himself in. He what? Yeah. Who the hell's in charge of this? Don't you know what we're supposed to? He's supposed to, well, he didn't do it. And by the way, he turned himself in, not to admit, but because they told him, if you don't, you're gonna have red dots all over you. One day you're gonna wake up. So the narrative's gone. But Jimmy, be careful. If I don't want to say this, but if he's ever Epstein, nobody's going to be surprised with that one. Nobody, because if there's remember, no Tyler, no case, no problem. And guess what? Old Junebug or Luna, whatever the other one's name is in Texas, same goes for you, honey, because you're an accessory. Did anybody offer you immunity? Because if you testify, the first thing out of your mouth should be, I'm taking the fifth. I'm not going to answer anything about anybody. I mean, boom.
The documents, where can we find the process documents, like all the documents? Yeah. They're right here. So let's go to, I'll put this link in the, it's on her page. Let me see. Tyler Robinson appeal. I think she has all of them here. Let me see. It's on here. You'll have to go through here, but she does have a public Jan 5th. So let me see. So I believe it was in here somewhere. Post. When was this? Does it have the date? Oh yeah, here. March 16th, April 8th. It's in here somewhere. You'll have to go find it. Review of new filings. I think it might be in here. There's a page that has all of the things listed out. I'll give you the link to her A. Burkhart Law, and I'll put it in the chat. And then I'll pin it for y'all real quick. But there you can see thanks to her if you want to subscribe to her on Substack.
So here's exactly what you were talking about. Sam Parker.
Great.
Sam Parker, who's been great on this. He says the original plan was for Tyler Robinson to be killed in a shootout, just as we suspected. So follow closely because it's a little confusing. And there's been newly released text messages, which trace back to the first being divulged by the FBI by Lance Twiggs Lance Twiggs, which was Tyler's lover. Lance Twiggs at 1 a.m. September 12th, the same nightmare that Tyler turned himself in, the same nighttime that Tyler turned himself in. Tyler allegedly states he's going to call the cops to a certain location and then go out on my own terms. I have no intention of being drugged through the courts, he says in these texts. These messages were meant to be the paper trail for the shootout that the conspirators had planned for him. That was their version 1.0. Okay. That was the original plan, was to say these were the texts that he sent, and then they were going to have the shootout, and that was going to justify it. And
I put a poll in the chat on YouTube. Go cast your vote. Do you think Tyler Robinson was supposed to go into a shootout scenario and be taken out by law enforcement or whoever? I don't know. Do you think? I'm very curious. This is something that is being raised. This conversation, this topic is being raised. And it sounds like a movie, but perhaps this is the reality of maybe if he's a patsy, this is how it's supposed to end. You would never expect them to be in this situation where they have Tyler Robinson alive. They have, somebody said, I was watching earlier, a brass of grade A students that are young, manipulatable, mind weakened, I guess, people that have attempted or tried or did complete an assassination attempt on high profile figures, and they end up dead. And right now we've got Tyler Robinson alive. Do you think that they would have imagined that Tyler Robinson is alive and now they're having to deal with all of this? They cannot let Tyler Robinson go. Now they're stuck with someone that doesn't make sense at all for this case. It would make sense to me that they would have him go into a place and be killed. That makes sense because you can't have him alive. So cast your vote. I want to know what you think.
But that's not what Tyler did. He didn't call the cops and go out on his own terms. Thank God and family members, something or somebody intervened. He didn't follow whatever the original plan was. He turned himself in instead, ruining the shootout plan the conspirators had prearranged for the patsy. That's why the text messages in the indictment from September 16th say that I'm going to turn myself in willingly. These messages were the adjustments made in the aftermath of Tyler turning himself in on the evening of the 11th, ruining the plan.
I think I have the post here. Credit to Sam Barker. Do I not? Oh yeah, Sam Parker. Sorry. He's made a few great posts. I'll give him a follow. So, man, he's going bananas on this. Let me see. I think he made. Let me find which post it was. Go follow Sam Parker if you haven't. He's been doing great work. I didn't know I wasn't following him. Thanks for the follow, Sam, if you're watching. Where is this damn post? I'll share you the link here. I'll give you his channel. Go. This guy's been doing great work. I put it in the chat for all of you. Go check him out. The guy's doing just incredible research, and whether true or not, right? He's doing his best. Here it is. So let's read through this. OMG. Oh my gosh. The original plan was for Tyler Robinson to be killed in a shootout, just as we've suspected. follow closely because it's a little confusing. In the newly released text messages, which trace back to first being divulged to the FBI, by Lance Twiggs at 1 a.m. September 12th, the same nighttime that Tyler turned himself in, Tyler allegedly states he's going to call the cops to a certain location to go out on my own terms. I have no intention of being drugged through the courts. These messages were meant to be the paper trail for the shootout that the conspirators had planned for him. I'll put this post for you so you can go check it out for yourself. They're going to go through it, so let's go ahead and see what they have to say. Yeah, go ahead and share this. I'll repost it myself.
These messages were actually version 2.0. So the text messages we all saw from the FBI, those were their second plan that had when they scrambled because Tyler didn't follow through with the first plan and show up and get himself killed.
And when you're the usual patsy, as in the case of Paddock in Las Vegas and the Butler guy and Lee Harvey, at least you can say, let's get him when he's there with Granddaddy's shooting iron. Get him there, and some eagle-eyed cop.
How crazy is that Mandalay Bay thing, man? No broken glass outside the window of the hotel. So many inconsistencies. If you go and you see that story, man, you would be blown away if you were to see all of the inconsistencies. And there's so many. And then why the Butler situation, the president doesn't have any interest in going deeper. Trump Jr., which I have no respect for at this point. Trump has lost my respects. Don Jr.'s lost my respect. The guys own a portion of a company that's working with a guy that's a registered Israeli foreign agent. There's a lot more information that I'm going to be pulling out. I've got a lot of research that I'm going to be doing on that because I don't think Brad Parscale is the main guy. I think he's actually the fall guy. If you follow my Salem media stuff and the foreign intelligence of Israeli government spreading propaganda through integrated narrative messaging into Salem media and aligned messaging properties, doesn't even have to be Salem media. They are mandated to get 50 million impressions to spread bias on the behalf of Israel. So stay tuned because I've got a lot of information coming out and I'm going to be reaching out to certain people to talk to them before I do. Tim Dunn, okay? Brad Parscale, just be expecting to hear from me because I'm very curious, but this show is not about that today.
Dispatches him on the spot. Well, guess what? He was nowhere near there.
Yep.
That's the part. He's walking around, and all of a sudden you hear this. And he probably thought, somebody's shooting. It's me. Me? He's the only guy ever to be a part of a conspiracy he didn't know about. He didn't know any of the people. How can you do that? But listen, Jimmy, it comes down to this. I'm a lawyer. And I'm going to say, great, let's tee it up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I represent this guy here, Tyler. Now, here's what we're going to do. They have got to prove beyond to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that this was aggravated murder, that he shot Charlie. So what did they have? Two things. Eyewitness? Nope. Confession? We'll get to that in a moment. They think there's a confession. Well, it depends what you mean by confession. You see, there might be a summary. For this guy, he never really lands on it. Yeah, guys, it was me. It was you what? Well, it was what? What do you mean?
All of these things, they are not actually a conviction in the criminal self-convicting. You cannot, you also, even if somebody said, you know how many, we could actually look this up. How many people have called in to claim they shot Charlie Kirk? Rough estimate. Let's just take a look. Did you know that people do this all the time? How many people have called in to claim they shot Charlie Kirk? Will it tell us? Okay. In the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, authorities received over 7,000 leads related to the case. Specific instances of individuals falsely claiming to be the shooter were reported. Okay. How many people claimed to be the shooter? Okay. Well, this is wild, guys. While official investigative reports focus on specific individuals, at least 3 people were initially taken into custody based on immediate suspicion or false claims. Additionally, unverified social media commentary has suggested that up to 500 people may have claimed responsibility or confessed in various formats, though this figure appears to be an exaggeration or includes online trolls. 500 people have claimed they killed Charlie. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that.
It's me. What does that mean? Sounds like a self-help book. It's me. What does that mean? Me. You have to authenticate these things too. If all of a sudden I come in and they've got, hey, Jimmy Dore's left off.
I'm going to run a poll. Let's end this one. 9 minutes ago, I put up a poll. I asked, how many people of you think that Tyler Robinson's going to be in a shootout? This is the outcome of the poll. 80% say yes, you believe the case. Now we're going to run a poll. Did you know that up to 500 people claimed to have killed CK? Yes or no? All I need is a yes or no. Vote in the chat. Let me know what you think. Have you heard of this? Because I find it very interesting. What's up, Christy? Good to see you. I'm sorry you missed me as well. Thanks for the $10. I was in the chat on the premiere and I said, send me an email. I'll give you my number, but you never hit me up. What's up? Thanks for the super. Thank you. Thank you very much for the mods. Thank you for donating on behalf of the mods. We appreciate you.
All these notes here. Excuse me. I have to authenticate this. Anybody know your handwriting? Let me look at this. Who says this? Not only that, when you have text messages, we have a thing called the best evidence rule, which I don't want to get into, but I just can't talk about things that I read. I can't tell you about, well, there was the contract said this, the sticker said this, the sign said this. It's like, wait a minute. You're talking about a document here. So also you need to have somebody come in who knows what they're doing and authenticate that this message came from his phone and that phone is what this, because and I know, whether it's any of these big tech folks who maybe are spooks or Palantir or God knows who, they can make you say anything. You could admit to, killing the Count Richelieu or whatever on your phone. So they have to authenticate this. Not to mention, when they actually asked Mr. Twiggs, did he tell you? Well, I'm summarizing. And I know you're not supposed to do this. I know that defendants are not supposed to take the stand, but I would tell them, Tyler, you're on the trial for your life. You're going to get your ass there, and I'm going to ask you questions. And I want that jury to see just what a dumbass you are. And I'm going to say, this is the killer. And I'm going to say, did you do this? No. Did you admit to it? No. I was there. I might have been there. There's no such thing as that. So let's assume that I say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you go back and you find him guilty based on a confession, would you tell me where it was? I can't find it. Where is it? He didn't confess. It's a guy who turns himself in, goes to the sheriff's office and says, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to Miranda. Oh, no. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to turn myself in. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell my parents in kind of cryptic, weird coded messages. So let's just throw that out of the way. There is nothing. Then we talk about the gun. And they say, well, there's no match. Jimmy, this is a lint brush. There's no match here either. There's no connection to the murder. This lint brush is as relevant as that rifle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to file a motion to suppress and a motion in limine that says nobody's going to mention a rifle. Because once they see that big thing with a rifle, they're going to think of the Mannlicher Carcano. They're going to hearken back because there's no connection there. Not only that, I want to find out what is the ME. So what's in? What did they get out of Charlie? Fragments, metal, or plastic. There's all, you've heard it from exploding microphones to whatever it is. Also, if you thought the magic bullet was good with JFK, this thing goes in, hits the cervical collar, goes down, goes up. It granulates, it atomizes, it just pulverizes because of his diet. I mean, this story is There's nothing there. So if I kick out the gun and if I kick out the admission, guess what, folks? That's not guilty. And there's no way they're going to let this guy walk. Capiche? No way.
No way.
And he can't. Because all this stuff, this was supposed to be taken care of.
Yep. Next.
I mean, I want you to process what I've just told you. How many people have voted in this so far? We've got 89 votes. 94% of you did not know that up to 500 people have claimed the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So the overwhelming majority here alone, not knowing this, in the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk being assassinated on September 10th, law enforcement received 7,000 leads. 7,000. And among those leads, people were claiming to be the shooter. Not one person, not two people. Estimates are suggesting up to 500, as many as 500 people in various formats online and offline, claiming to have taken responsibility or confessed to the killing of Charlie Kirk. 500. Now, of course, they're trolls. Many of them are mentally ill. Some of them are online idiots looking for attention. Some might be homeless people looking to get 3 hots in a cot and take their life. Who knows? However, the number is staggering, and some of these this raises questions that nobody in the mainstream media is asking. Nobody. I actually learned this from Lionel. Where is it? Where is he? Right here. Right here. From Lionel. I was watching one of his episodes and I learned, I had no idea. So then I looked into it. Of course, it's true. And it actually makes sense. How did they filter through 7,000 leads and hundreds of confessions and land on Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old kid from Washington, Utah, whose own family describes him as quiet and reserved, who has no criminal record and no history of violence, and who was registered as politically unaffiliated? But it gets worse because Tyler Robinson was not the first person detained. You've got 2 individuals who were taken into custody shortly after, and you've got allegedly Zach Qureshi that was apparently looking for, I guess it was Zach Qureshi, if I recall correctly, driving around from hospital to hospital looking for Charlie Kirk right after the shooting. What about the guy in the military, the outfit, the black outfit, the covert operator outfit? All right. In a case where the government held 24-minute press conferences reading probable cause affidavit verbatim on national television, in a case where they told us what Tyler Robinson was wearing, what he was eating, who he was sleeping with, what was carved on his bullet casings, they could not tell us who the other 2 suspects were and why they were really released. And that information simply does not exist in public record. And then there's George Zinn, 71 years old on the day of the shooting, while the crime scene is still active. You all know what he did, running down there. And it happens to be that he endorsed Phil Lyman, the same person that was making a joke about the whole thing like it was just a scene. Why? Reenacting with the student and, I just watched Charlie Kirk get killed. I'm not okay. And then go in and replicate the same thing on the inside of the how about, why is it that there's nobody, when somebody gets shot at an event, why is it 5 minutes after people are just standing around packing up like the DJ set is over? Oh, we're just going to pack up. Let me take our memory cards. Let me do all of this. Why is that? When there's an active shooter situation, how do they know that there was an active shooter situation that was complete? How do they know that there was nobody going to run up in there with a shotgun and blast everybody inside that stage? How did they not know that? How is it that people are around laughing? Phil Lyman is talking with people right around there's people hanging out over the side wall there. You got the goth girls that Phil Lyman goes and plants this seed at, allegedly. Why is it that? Why are people hiding and going in the bathroom and locking the door? Does any of this make sense? No. A shooting at a school with no police presence there. No significant police presence, no ambo, no ambulance, just carry him off, throw him in the car and take him away with his legs hanging out down the freaking highway. What the hell is that? People just hanging out, like carrying firearms and stuff and running away with guns and like, what? This is the assassination. This is the place where a shooter is at. If a shot fired off at a school, you best believe that is not what it looks like to me. That is not a real situation to me. That is not what I see there. I see something different. And I'll let you imagine what that could be. But for me, when you go to a shooter situation at a school, you're not going to just have a little bit of footage where it shows people running down the hallway and ducking for a second, and then everywhere else is people are meandering around and just kind of like talking and chatting and laughing. And did you see that? Oh, no. Like, what the fuck is that? Phil Lyman, I still got questions for you, my guy. I got your phone number, my man. I just haven't called you because I'm tired of I don't have your number, actually. I can get your number. And I haven't done it because I don't want you to track me down, bro. But as I think about it, I need to get your number from the person that I know. And I need to call you. And I need you to get you on the record and figure out, why were you laughing and having a kid rehearse the social media reflection that he's putting out in front of everybody, and then go and do it on the inside? I need to know this. So this is somebody I need to contact. It's just insane. And they're thinking we're just going to buy it like it's just cookies at a 99-cent store. I don't understand. I don't get it, man. The whole thing looks like it's all set up. Whether Charlie was in on it or not, really tough. I don't think he is. I mean, it seems very strange. I mean, Jesse on Fire's got a very interesting thing about, but at the same time, man, letting his family and his wife go through all of this, unless he just knew she was this way and felt she was evil and let her go through it, but then why take over the company? It's very confusing, right? And I don't want to get into is he alive or dead? I'm just saying he's never coming back, okay? But to me, the whole thing looks like a shapeshifter stage from hell. People are not acting normal when I say normal, the normal reaction of a shot being taken and someone getting killed in front of their eyes. That is not how it happens. People don't just go back, take the chair that someone got shot on, stand on it, disrupt a crime scene, go and take stuff out, pack stuff up with no urgency, and what? Pave over a crime scene and all of this disruption. This is a fabrication, okay? The whole situation is not real to me. It looks insane, actually. It just looks insane. Like, imagine being at an event where someone was shot and killed right in front of your face, and 5 minutes later, someone goes right where that person was shot and is packing stuff up like the show is over. Does that, sure, it's a crime, but it doesn't look like a crime that would be, it doesn't look like the reaction to the crime is authentic, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying there wasn't a crime. Of course there's a crime. But what I'm saying is the reaction is not authentic. And if you don't get it, then I'm sorry.
That's exactly.
And all they had to do, if you wanted to get rid of Charlie, you could have done it very, very easy, much easier.
But they wanted to do this publicly.
Grand style. Grand.
Yeah. So let's just get back to, just so if people aren't exactly clear on what's happening with this new release of these new text messages. And the kicker is, spoiler alert, they're not even going to use any of these text messages in the trial. They've already admitted that. But let's go back to what they're now releasing, because there's two.
No crime to remove evidence. Okay, whatever.
Different. There's the text messages.
You're wrong, by the way. Okay, well, let's find out. Is it? Let's leave that. Who is that post? No crime to remove evidence. Okay, let's see. Is it a crime to remove evidence from a crime scene? Let's see. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, it is. Okay, oops. Okay, here we go. So it says, yes, removing, altering, or concealing evidence from a crime scene is a crime, also known as tampering with evidence or destruction of evidence.
1.0 and text messages 2.0. And
Right.
so let's go to this. When Lance Twiggs shared the text messages from the original plan on what was essentially also the evening of the 11th, 1 a.m., September 12th, is basically the night of the 11th, the conspirators hadn't yet had time to react to Tyler going off the script. All Lance had at that moment was version 1.0, where he was going to get himself killed. So that's what he shared, and that's what made it into the FBI file, and that's what's been newly released. By September 16th, the conspirators had had time to react, and they forged new false messages of Tyler saying he was going to turn himself in, because that's what Tyler ended up doing. Again, these were version 2.0, but the text that Lance Twiggs shared the night Tyler turned himself in reflected the original plan, version 1.0. Tyler was going to meet the cops.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Everyone looked like they knew their role, or it wasn't even like nobody. You would imagine they have speakers on campus, like there's an active shooter. Alarms would be going off. Like, where is this? Right? Like, let's take a look at a university active shooter scenario. Would the school alarms and announcements be going off warning people? In an active scenario at a university, you could expect multiple forms of emergency alerts, though standard fire alarms are generally not used intentionally by school officials. However, you would have SMS and email alerts. Has anybody shown a text message from any type of institution notifying people that there's an active shooter, which is the fastest and most common way universities spread critical information? Let me know in the chat. Yes or no. Have you seen anybody saying run, hide, fight? There's an active shooter. There's something going on school property. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, anything, ever. PSA, many modern campuses use integrated speaker systems or intercoms to broadcast live or pre-recorded instructions throughout the building and outdoors. Has anybody ever seen footage or heard of footage, or even heard of anyone speaking of footage or hearing at the event that there was an announcement or any type of messaging system at all whatsoever that there was a shooter on property ever? Yes or no? If I haven't heard it, I know that you haven't, because that doesn't exist. Computers, visual signals. For those with hearing impairments, strobe lights or other visual indicators may be used. There is nothing to indicate that there was an active firing of a firearm. There was no lockdown. Do you know what a school shooting lockdown looks like?
Yeah, Lisa, well, you can imagine parents are already out here. They were told not to come out in the meantime, but they've already started coming out. Obviously, their children are in that school now. I can tell you that there is a lot of police presence out here, CHP and Placer County Sheriff's deputies. I mean, CHP right now blocking this intersection. This is Eureka Road and Wellington Way. And if we move just to the left of that, you can see
2 weeks ago, Granite Bay, Placer County, shooting at Granite Bay High. It's locked down. There's police everywhere. There's helicopters everywhere. Was there one helicopter? Have we seen? Okay, Baron has gone through. A lot of you have gone through the footage of helicopter and flights and flight radar and all. Has there ever been a helicopter flying around that area? I don't know. Do you know in the chat? Is there evidence of any of that? Helicopter looking for this person. Wouldn't you have that? Wouldn't you have blockades and stuff everywhere? Wouldn't you?
The line of cars along Eureka Way now about 30 minutes ago or less, we were in that area. We were told by some Placer County deputies that they were going car by car, checking every single one of those cars that you see right along Eureka Road to make sure that nobody was inside those cars. Again, this is an investigation involving a school shooting threat. The school is in a lockdown. We know that earlier today, a resource officer was on campus. At the time of that school shooting threat, they immediately began working to ensure that everyone on campus was safe and that there was not an active shooter at this time. You know, we've seen a lot of police presence. I'm not sure if you can hear that. That is CHP also. So there's officers on the ground. There's also aerial support at this time, trying to make sure, again, that there is nobody on campus. I just was on the phone with the spokesperson from the Placer County Sheriff's Office. She tells me that they've been doing
Speaking of some of these students who are here, I want to introduce you to one I just met moments ago. I'm going to walk.
Sorry. So they're walking in and they're like, everything is just done. Okay. They're acting like they're just going in and they're just interviewing people outside and everything's done. Do I hear a chopper there?
Welcome in, Oliver. Oliver, thank you so much. Oliver, your student here on campus.
Guy looks like an actor, bro. Right away. Holy smokes.
Just met moments ago. I'm going to welcome in Oliver. Oliver, thank you so much. Oliver, your student here on campus.
I am.
You live right across the road.
I do, yeah. So I live down at the Green. A lot of people all just suddenly coming down, worried, confused, trying to find a place to go. A lot of cops everywhere. I mean, there's already a bunch.
Does that look like the face of an honest guy? I'm just asking. I don't know.
There, but everyone's just trying to figure out what to do.
You weren't at the event, but you witnessed a lot of the aftermath. In fact, if you notice the camera in Oliver's hands, you freelance, if you will. You come out and when you see something kind of important or significant happen, you come to the scene to kind of witness it through your eyes, through your lens.
Look at this. It's like, what is going on, bro?
Can you tell us kind of what you have witnessed here today?
It's just, all I can say is just chaos. I think I posted some condolences on my story, and just seeing a lot of people like come after me and a lot of political views aside, I think people need to realize someone.
Is there any footage of live reporter on the ground, active shooting right away? No, there's not, because it doesn't exist. There's none. FBI conferences, you don't see anything. You would see.
Days after the assassination of Kirk, we are still seeing memorials like this one pop up across the U.S.
This is all fake and gay, bro.
And go out on his own terms. Remember, he didn't want to be drugged through the courts, but you don't turn yourself in if you don't want to be drugged through the courts. So they had planned to mow Tyler down, release version 1.0, fake text messages of Tyler saying he was going to go out on his own terms and wrap everything up in a nice little bow. What's that they say about the best laid plans of mice and men? Tell me if I'm reading this wrong. So here it is, September 16th indictment text left version 2.0, newly released text messages from the early morning of September 12th below. So here it is. So here's what they're going with. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors is here at a deputy for the sheriff. But here's what the original. Tyler, not yet, but I have no doubts that they will be on me within the hour, and I will give my location up and going out on my own terms. I have no intention of being drugged through the courts in front of the country. Can I come see you? After that, I can call my dad and see if he's willing to help me or not. So let's go a little bit farther. We're supposed to believe that in the same message conversations between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs, the following contradictions happened. Tyler worries about retrieving the gun because he doesn't want to leave any evidence behind. But then he had already planted a note and now sends a bunch of messages, leaving a ton of evidence behind. He then says he's sorry to involve Lance Twiggs, but then he involves Lance Twiggs.
Yeah.
He says he's sorry about being the one that killed Charlie and assertively explains that he needed to kill Charlie to stamp out hate. He says he wanted to take the secret to his grave, but then he confesses to the crime to all his Discord buddies, then says he's going to willingly turn himself in.
Yeah.
He said,
That is so, it's just so ridiculous, my guy. So ridiculous. How about this one? How about this one?
Out of here. You're crazy.
So some people would say, they go, no, Lionel, they do have the gun, but what you don't understand is they can't match it up with ballistics, but even more suspicious is that when the bomb-sniffing gun dogs went over there, they couldn't find the gun. The cops couldn't find the gun. Nobody could find the gun. The FBI shows up, and the minute the FBI shows up, they find the gun. So you tell me why.
You know why the dogs couldn't smell it? Couldn't smell the dog?
Because it never was fired.
Right.
Because that gun was never fired.
They can.
That's the only way. That is quite physically impossible. The gun has to have been fired recently, and even a week, 2 weeks later. I mean, it needs to have been fired.
Smell a fish fart.
Yes.
They can. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they're sniffing around. They're going, what is it? What? And not even residue from whatever. They never took GSR testing of him. I don't think his clothes, his cheek, any pull. Also, if we get to this point, I want to bring in my experts, and I'm going to bring in gun.
You guys are asking about the guy that was in the green shirt. You want to go back to it? I see a lot of people asking in the chat. You want to know this dude's name?
Yeah, Lisa. Well, you can imagine.
Where is he? Oh, this was the Granite Bay shooter. Was it here? No, that was the other one. Okay. We need the Charlie Kirk. Here, let me see.
Days after the assassination. Days after the assassination.
Here, let me, reporting. This one, right? This is the guy you're talking about? Oliver? Oliver who?
Someone today, someone died.
Through your eyes, through your
EcoView. She said, does she say his name? You want to look for him? EcoView windows and doors. She said his name was Oliver, right? Is that what you said? Maybe we have a lead on some other person. I don't know.
Oliver, thank you so much.
Oliver,
you're a student here on campus.
I am.
You live right across the road.
I do, yeah. So I live down at the Green. A lot of people all just suddenly coming down, worried, confused, trying to find a place to go. A lot of cops everywhere. I mean, there's already a bunch there, but everyone's just trying to figure out what to do.
You weren't at the event, but you witnessed a lot of the aftermath. In fact, if you notice the camera in Oliver's hands, you freelance, if you will. You come out and when you see something kind of important or significant happen, you come to the scene to kind of witness it.
Chat. Right here. Oliver student on campus, lives at the Grain. I don't know. EcoView windows and doors, photography freelancer. He's smiling, right? Isn't that funny?
Through your eyes, through your lens, can you tell us kind of what you have witnessed here today?
It's just, all I can say is just chaos. I think
it's kind of what you have witnessed here today. Through your eyes, through your lens, can you tell us kind of what you have witnessed here today?
It's just, all I can say is just chaos. I think I posted some condolences on my story and just seeing a lot.
Is that him? Is that his story? Jaden Live Loco? Follow me on Instagram, you guys. Dankster Intel. Morning intimacy before work makes men 70% more productive with their job. What the fuck? Okay, Oliver, is that what it was? Jaden.live loco. Jaden.live loco. Is this him? That doesn't look like him. So this is somebody else. Who's that? I can't play that stuff on here. I cannot have that on here. They're going to rip me from there. So I don't know. Anyways.
Sergeant Jimmy Dore, U.S. Marine Corps, retired. I'm going to say, Gunny, did you try to do this? I sure did.
It was, let me put that. I don't know what they're here. Sorry. I freaked out because I don't want anything to happen to the stream and definitely don't want to be showing that stuff. We don't show firearms on this. So thankfully we got away from that. Let's see what he talks a lot here. So let's see.
Colleagues and classmates on this campus can move on from something like this and learn from something like this.
I think you just got to look at it as a whole.
Why does he keep doing that? What a freeze frame, bro.
Just realize, politics aside, everyone should support whoever you want to support.
This is 4:49 local time, and you can see people are still going in and out. So 4 hours after the shot was taken.
Support, I think you're free to speak your opinions of what you want to speak, what you believe in, and I
don't know. I mean, I'm not really good at being able to discern age, especially as I've gotten older. I mean, he looks kind of old for a college student, no?
I don't think violence should get in the way of that. Regardless of, I know a lot of laws get into it, gun laws, everything like that. Just, I don't know. There's not much more to say other than.
Look at that face. What a face. I don't buy it, bro. I just don't buy it. Yeah, he did it again, right? He did it again.
I know a lot of laws get into your opinions of what you want to speak, what you believe in, and I don't think violence should get in the way of that, regardless of, I know a lot of laws get into it, gun laws, everything like that. Just, I don't know. There's not much more to say.
Sounds like a nervous tick to me. Another nice freeze frame. I don't buy it, bro.
Other than it's chaos here, and I think people need to learn and be better, and don't go shoot people. It's that simple.
Something to learn from. Oliver, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So nice meeting you. We're glad for your time. Again, and that's a message we've really heard today from many people. We just heard it from some of our state and federal leaders. We heard it from people who witnessed the shooting. We heard it from people like Oliver who witnessed the aftermath.
How come there's not anybody on scene? Like at noon, at 12:45? You know, they're like, Barron looked at all of the footage, right? Does he see any news vehicles there on site? Does he see any? Does anybody know? Have they shown, like, do you see like news vans showing up and ambulances showing up and fire trucks showing up? Because when I've looked, I haven't seen any of that. So we need to be pay very close attention. Okay.
But a really a large, strong message of anti-violence today, regardless of where you find yourself on the political spectrum.
I don't know. I just don't know, man. We're going to be wrapping it up soon here. I'll play a little bit more of this.
Did you use your weapon? I sure did. And you're good at this, right? I've got to get angle. I got to get temperature. I got to get all this stuff. It's to get this shot here, which looked like an exit wound. But anyway, I'm going to do this. And this guy, first time using this this crappy scope, the breathing, not shaking. This is your first, this is opening night, man. This is it. And you're going to be Lee Harvey, Robinson.
Thanks to everybody viewing. Please smash the like. Hit the subscribe button, share this out. There's a lot of stuff I've been talking about here. I think that we're raising some interesting questions. I don't know, haven't heard many people wonder, like, is there somebody, why isn't the news on scene at the time? Why isn't there a lockdown? Is there news vans there, police vans there, trucks there, fire trucks, fire ambulance? I mean, these are things that we need to find out. Okay. Join the Discord, patreon.com/originaldankster. If you want to join the research, it's $5.
This is your shot there, and you did it perfectly. And like you said, let me take it apart.
Yeah.
I put it back together again. None of it makes any sense. Then we get into the idea of we haven't even looked at the forensics. I want to see a picture of him. I want to see wounds. I want to see everything. And I'm going to bring in my Michael Bodens and everybody else that I've got there. I'm going to say, look at this. What is this consistent with? Just for the, and somebody might say, you know what? Let's stop. No, I want the world to know. We found plastic. This isn't even metal. What's this? Then you get into the whole thing about, they may say, cut. Because remember, though, I'm going to go back to what I'm saying. If something, God forbid, happens to Tyler, this is moot. It's over.
Yep.
It's done. We move on. So this guy, you better pick him up, take him to an Air Force base or a hospital, which is what they do. You put him in a room with all kinds of sensors, cameras that can tell drops in temperature. There's something called noose on a bun. The black art of poison is so good. Jimmy, I could give you something every single day. You're drinking and you're fine. And then I give you this other stuff. Seems like a sandwich. No big deal. And when this binary thing kicks, all of a sudden you are nighty-night. And the residuals will be potassium elevated and nothing big. They can do so much stuff. This guy's walking around and I don't think he realizes it. And I got news for Twiggs. He's walking around in Texas and he's waving to people and saying, what about the FBI? Agreed to protect him at first. Then they say, you know what? You're on your own.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
When they pull the security
That's
detail.
true. The Lance Twiggs stuff is so crazy. I mean, I think we get the point. I went way off today. I'm just so disappointed. You want to know why I covered this case? You want to know why Barron covers it and why Candace covers it and Andrea Burkhart covers it, maintains every court document on her Substack? Is because this is what it looks like when the system, when they decide who is guilty before the person is even fully investigated, before an investigation is even complete. Reduced down to one name and everybody else just disappears into the ether. This is what it looks like when a man confesses at a scene to being an accomplice and nobody follows up on George Zinn. They just lock him away for child kidiography and nothing to see here, just letting the actual perp get away. This is what it looks like when the chief of counterterrorism of the United States says that they were not allowed to investigate further into foreign influence. And nobody in the mainstream asks why. They just pin it on Tyler Robinson. Okay, whatever, I guess. I highly encourage you to go watch the last live stream from Jimmy Dore and Lionel. It's great. The whole thing is fantastic. But this is America. And in 2026, we deserve transparency. And for the most transparent administration in the history of this nation, it seems like we have exactly the opposite of that. It's very clear to me. Okay? It's very clear to me. I do not see anything related to transparency, honesty, forthcoming, being open, truthness. We see there's so much more I want to cover on Trump and all that. I mean, this is just beyond me, beyond insane. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of the garbage. We demand transparency. I demand it. Nobody locked down the school. No major police presence. No helicopters flying around. Just Tyler Robinson at Dairy Queen with some chicken tendies and a swirly. I don't get it, man. Actually, I do get it. I mean, to me, it's kind of obvious. It's like, I've been seeing this from day one. I've been investigating this case from a distance in different various ways. And I've seen every piece of evidence that has come out, either from social media, from the videos that we've seen from people that we all follow. Great research by everyone that's involved, at least for the most part. And I've seen it all. I've never seen anything like this, though. It's unprecedented, where you have a decentralized investigation network pulling together and trying to find out the truth. And that's what America is about. Trump thinks it's about MAGA and stopping this and that all over the world and pleasing this country and giving away that. That's just not what America's about, bro. You've got it all wrong. America is about exactly what we are doing right now. This is America. Yeah, albeit it's a small subsect of the internet. Okay. I was talking to Barron, and I've said this also to my friend Bays, that we think that our lives are so, like, this is such a big deal and everyone knows about it, but actually it's such a small piece, right? Like Candace gets 1 million, 2 million views. Barron gets 500,000, 300, 200,000 views. I get 5,000 views. Nobody, like, in the grand scheme of things, you got 400 billion people in this country. It's 0.25% of people watching this stuff on a regular basis. If that on a regular basis, just Candace and Barron, perhaps mostly Candace. And then 1/4 of it or half of it is Barron from there after. And it's the same people, right? So it's not that many people. Okay. So in reality, we have to raise more awareness. And that's leads back to the super chat from Pete's earlier when he said, how do we stop this? How do we stop this madness? We have to raise more awareness that this is what's going on. My dad he's Iranian. He wanted Trump to go in and do this with Iran because all he watches is Fox News. And I told him it's not going to be what they said. Well, look what we got now, because they are not aware. They're not following independent media. We are the new media. Trump thinks that, oh, you're not on a TV network. Like, nobody cares. A TV network where you're controlled, where you have a job that you're required to have specific points and bias on behalf of that organization. You're required to speak certain things that you didn't write. You're required to not give your full opinion. You have to hold back. Nobody gives a shit. So nobody actually cares about, what I mean is nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about news TV, bro. Nobody cares. We all make fun of it. It's a legacy media that will be gone in 10 years if they're lucky. And it's already done for now. Done for by now. They are on their last leg. And you're watching American transition in American history in action right now, baby. We are it. We are it. We are it. We are the new media. We are the ones that actually care. Because guess what? We aren't paid by a person that works for AIPAC. We aren't paid by a political actor that's trying to make us do this or that. We aren't trying to get a vote for some midterm that nobody cares about anymore because everyone's lying to us. We don't have to deal with that stress. That's why I love what I do, because I get to come here, make $40, $100, $200 if I'm lucky, and get to chat with you all and give you my opinion. And then you can go and take it and someone else can run with it. I take what Barron does or what Jesse says or what Candace says. That's what we do, because that's what America is. It's the melting pot of people working together to get the truth. Not fame, fortune, and destruction. All right. So God bless all of you. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, Thursday at 8:30 EST, me, Elizabeth Lane, Jesse on Fire, Ethan Levins, Julian Dory, and JP Spears, special guest, 8:30 p.m. on Spaces on X. You can follow me at Dankster Intel on X, and you'll see more about that coming out soon. I'll repost it when I see that the post has gone out. But yeah, you can follow me at Dankster Intel on IG, X, YouTube, Venmo, Cash App. Patreon is Original Dankster. This was one I had Jesse on Fire on. But yeah, look, we're going to speak the truth, and they're not going to stop us. So I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Peace.